Well, she's gone. The Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, has gone west to join her partner in freedom, Ronald Reagan. Like Reagan, she had been gone for some time, Alzheimer's having cruelly taken both of the minds that brought us 3 decades of renewed freedom and prosperity long before their magnificent hearts finally gave out. Joining me now to lament this loss are my friends Steve Green and Scott Ott. Welcome, guys. You know, gents, my mom is British. My grandfather was awarded the Order of the British Empire. When I visited him in the mid-'70s, he lamented how the socialists had ruined the country, how nothing worked anymore, not the buses, not the trains, not the military, nothing. Strikes of one form or another were ongoing, concurrent, they were daily. And he didn't live to see Margaret Thatcher arrive and turn things around for Great Britain. Steve, socialists are not just relieved that she's passed, they're openly celebrating. Famed enemy of civilization and infamous reptile George Galloway said, "Tramp the dirt down." What a lovely man. And we've seen other comments and tweets of that stripe. You can see some people here celebrating the death of this woman who bought them some prosperity and some security and freedom, you miserable low-life swine. They hated her because she was the enemy of something for nothing. They hated her because she believed in freedom and hard work. Do you think she lived in vain, Steve?
Oh boy, what a tough question. First, though, I hadn't seen the clips of that protest, and the only reason that vile Prague could afford to spill a bottle of champagne is because Margaret Thatcher saved that country's economy. She saved it. Otherwise, it'd be ruins. There were gunfights in the streets in London in the 1970s. All right, to answer your question, quick. Name a policy Britain's conservative coalition has rolled back from Labour. You know, when Thatcher was PM, she was out there fighting day after day, and she was winning. She was rolling things back. She was changing. She was undoing the ratchet effect. And you know what? Tony Blair, he was out there fighting day after day. And so was Gordon Brown. But between the two of them, Britain has been disarmed. And now Britons live under more video surveillance than any other people in the world except maybe the North Koreans. You literally cannot speed without the cameras between 2 stoplights doing the math, calculating that you must have been speeding to have done the distance in that much time, and issue an automatic citation that is incredibly expensive. Yep, liberty used to mean English liberty, but it's dead. It barely outlived Thatcher's 11 years at number 10. This is the part that makes me sad. She helped save the whole Western world from the Soviets, but she couldn't save Britain from Labour.
That's it. That's it. Well, Scott, Maggie famously said that the problem with socialism is that sooner or later you run out of other people's money. Do you think we're about to learn that lesson the hard way here in this country, and do you think history will be kind to her if we do?
Well, I don't know that they learned the lesson when she said it or since then. I think a handful of committed people fought that fight, she among them, taking a leadership role, Ronald Reagan and others who really led the charge to counter that. But I don't think we've actually learned it. And to me, what is the irony of all this with regard to the left? Here is the greatest female leader of the modern era, perhaps of all time. The strongest, most powerful, most independent, smart, well-studied, eloquent woman that has ever arisen on the public stage during the era of modern media, and the left must destroy her. The feminist left must destroy her. They don't care about women. They care about leftism. And if you're not in that camp, it doesn't matter how successful you are. There ought to be great tributes to this woman spilling out of the hearts of Democrats, progressives, and leftists around the world. She is the model that they have said to every young girl, you can be. And they're tramping the dirt down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how we women-hating conservatives are the ones who are just on our knees thanking God that she made a brief appearance here. It's funny how that works. You know, like Ronald Reagan, I actually missed Margaret Thatcher a long time before she actually died. Britain's first and only female prime minister, and without question the greatest politician the British had in the second half of the 20th century, will get the largest state funeral since her Tory predecessor, Winston Churchill, was the greatest prime minister of them all. She, like Churchill, simply could not bear to see Britain in decline. And so, like Churchill, through force of will, she stepped in and did something. Margaret Thatcher's name, like those of Winston Churchill and Ronald Reagan, will echo down through the centuries as champions of freedom and who, like Sisyphus, rolled the rock of entropy and decline back up to the top of the hill, at least for a while. Their critics will always crawl out from under those rocks to snipe and dance on their graves, but no one will remember them. But people will remember Margaret and Winston and Ronald, and one day, someone will cherish their memories enough to become a name that will bear remembering alongside of them. So here's to the inspiration and to the inspired. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.